In this demonstration, I'll show you the behavioral analysis of a malware sample called WEBC2-DIV. This malware sample was used by the APT1 group. This is the malware sample, but before I execute this sample, let me show you the setup. I have two virtual machines. So one is running Linux, whose IP address is 192.168.1.22, and I have a Windows machine where I'll execute the malware sample. And the network configuration is set like this. The default gateway for this system is set to 192.168.1.22, and also the DNS server is set to the same IP address, which is my Linux IP address. And the idea is that when I execute the malware sample, all the traffic goes through the Linux machine. And on the Linux machine, I also have inetsim running. Inetsim simulates all the services like the DNS, HTTP, HTTPS. The idea is when malware requests for any of these services, it will be redirected to this IP address here, which is my Linux machine. Okay. And also, I will be running packet capture. I'll be running Wireshark on this machine. So the idea is that when I execute the sample, if there is any traffic, that will get captured. Okay, so let's go back to the malware sample here. Okay, so this is the malware sample. What I'll do is I'll execute the malware sample, see what happens. As you can see, the div.exe is now running. Okay, and if you look at the packet capture, you see that there was a communication to the domain crownsgolf.org, and notice the response from the inetsim. You see that the inetsim, because the DNS server is run by the inetsim, it gave a response saying that the crownsgolf.org is at this IP address, which is my Linux machine. So now the malware thinks that the crownsgolf.org is at 192.168.1.22, and then it made a connection on port 80. Okay, so and also, like I said, inetsim also runs a HTTP server. You see that inetsim actually gave a default HTML page back to the malware. Okay. Also notice the communication here. This was the request from the malware to this host here, the crownsgolf.org, and it is trying to request a HTML file here. But also notice a user agent here, which is not normal. So you see that there is a user agent which is not a normal user agent, but again this can be used as an indicator. So probably you can create a signature on your security device and look for any user agent with this format. So if there is a hit on this user agent, probably the host, one of the hosts in your network is infected with this malware. And in this case, what malware is doing is it is sending my host name, which is my host name in this case, to the attacker. So this is the first communication of the malware. In this case, as soon as the malware is infected, it will send the host name in the user agent, so that to let the attacker know that it infected the system. Okay, so just to show you that this is the host name of my system. Okay, as you can see, my host name is the host name of the system where I ran the malware. So looking at the packet capture, apart from this, there is no other communication from the malware. You see that there is not much communication yet. So now the question really is, so what is this page that the malware is requesting, right? So is it taking any commands? If it's taking any commands from this HTML page, how is it taking? What is the format? And if it is taking the command, what exactly the malware does? In order to understand that, we need to reverse engineer the sample. So in the next demonstration, what I'll do is I will reverse engineer the sample to understand what is this page that malware is querying, and after querying, what does the malware exactly do.